The purpose of this PowerPoint is to explain our business studies curriculum. Our ethos in business studies is really trying to bring business studies to life. One of the beauties about teaching this subject is that it's real and happening all around both us and our students. So we want students to recognise this. But also, we've got a number of other objectives we're trying to achieve. We're trying to look forwards, both to exams and beyond. So we want students to come away with knowledge, the ability to apply their ideas to a context or a scenario, analysing the significance of what they're thinking, and genuinely being able to evaluate what is important and what isn't in different contexts. Business studies is a very inclusive subject. There is not just one right answer. There are lots of ways that businesses can be successful. We want all students to feel that they're in a position to offer an opinion. Classes at both Key Stage 4 and Key Stage 5 are mixed ability, which helps introduce this range of different ideas and possible right answers, but also means that we want all students to be able to access all the content. Thinking about exams, that means that everyone will be given the opportunity to access questions of any marks, and all concepts are introduced to all students, allowing students to make as much progress as they need to and really setting them up for what they do after the Griffin School. We also feel that students should be expected to and should want to be actively participative within lessons. Every lesson will have something that students need to do, need to think about, or need to complete. This is part of how they're going to learn. And as I said, we want to bring the subject to life, using real examples that students might understand because they're local, or using real examples which go beyond our local environment to actually introduce new contexts or scenarios and different scales to show all the things and all the business activities that are out there. Over the next 3 slides, I'm going to introduce our 3 I's. So the first one is intent. It's all about what we're trying to achieve. So you can see from the range of different factors here, a lot of them are about students really pushing themselves to go further and pushing themselves to give their best. It starts with trying to get the right students onto the right course. It then goes through ensuring that the working environment in school is safe and inclusive, as already explained, and helps develop the different skills, also already explained, but those which will be used for jobs, apprenticeships, as well as university and achievement in exams. We are now looking at how we want to implement those ideas to bring around our intended results. We believe that organisation is really key. So we set up lessons and organisation of notes to allow students to easily follow them and understand. We will have separate books for the notes they take from lessons and the work that they complete as assessments. This allows students to easily track their progress and see how they're doing. We also think about giving effective feedback. So there are standardised feedback sheets, and these focus not only on the mark that students got or how well they know the content, but also the skills that they have developed. So the knowledge, the application, analysis and evaluation which are part of our ethos. We plan lessons to include a wide range of different activities to allow students all to feel that they can participate and make sure that everyone gets their opportunity. We share best practice within the department to ensure that we can improve our teaching. For sixth form students, we provide scaffolding in terms of how to answer complex exam questions and the skills which need to be considered at this stage. We also supply support for students as they're doing work independently to help them get their ideas down and develop their best quality of work. When thinking about the impact we've had, you can see the range of our ideas here. Our approach in terms of organising the content, delivery of lessons and the active engagement has brought about a couple of these results. So firstly, we're now getting the right students onto the course, which has meant that students enjoy it more, they're more confident, resilient, reflective, which means that they are attempting to do more of the work which has been set, but also they are in a position where they want to do more business studies. So they stay doing business studies courses and they continue and finish the courses they've signed up for, particularly in sixth form. We've increased the understanding of life outside of Sherborne by using the range of different examples within our lessons. We have increased the number of students on courses, and we have many students going off to do a variety of different business or economics degrees, showing that this is just the first stage on their journey. I'll now go through a couple of examples as to demonstrating how we're applying our 3 I's policy within business studies. At this stage we are looking at GCSE Business Studies, and we're looking at trying to bring the topics to life. The focus of this piece of research is about how businesses complete, conduct and then analyse market research. You can see it's been used based upon a topic students will understand, McDonald's and burgers, and they are actually actively completing that research, applying their ideas through it. We have some further evidence of trying to allow students to make their own decisions and apply their knowledge to topics which are real to them. This is a Year 10 topic for GCSE Business Studies, looking at the skills that entrepreneurs need to demonstrate when starting a business. So those skills are organising resources, making decisions and taking risks. As you can see from this example, students have actually been able to choose their own business idea, and then they are applying those skills to everything they feel they need if they were actually going to start that business. So students really buy into what the topic is and how it can be applied in real life scenarios. I've said that we like to organise work so students really understand what they need to do and how to do it and how they've done afterwards. We're now looking again at some GCSE work, but you can see in yellow the topics that students have been asked to do, the questions they have done. You can see some marking on here in the green pen. On the right hand side of the slide you can see our feedback sheet. So the top of the feedback sheet indicates how students have actually achieved. This is compared to their benchmark or target grade. We then have a summary in terms of the skills that they have demonstrated. And we've got some now tasks and responses to that. By organising work in this way, students really understand about how they are performing and what they need to do to try to up their performance and do even better. This would be all stuck into an assessment book, so they can see not only on one piece of work, but across time, how they are progressing through the standard of their work. We are now looking at an A-level piece of work, which again has a very planned and organised approach to setting it and assessing it to show students how they're performing. The piece of work is actually a 20-mark exam question, which is in the top left. But students, when they're given the work, have also been given some comprehension questions and the examiner comment to show them the skills they need, and then also through the comprehension questions to help them assess the case study they need to use. This case study does relate to the business exam, but also helps students realise how business studies might be applied in different contexts for different types of business. Our students will go off and work for a variety of different types of businesses, and being able to truly apply ideas and fit it to what is different about businesses is clearly a skill which is going to help them through their own journeys. On the right hand side of the screen, you can see the feedback they have been given. So students are always given the mark scheme with an indication about how they performed, which again allows them to understand what they have done. Students will be marked against their benchmark or target grades to help them gain a full understanding of this. We're now looking at how we try to bring business studies to life through the use of case studies, which we include within our lessons. We have John Lewis, which students will have some understanding of through jobs and their personal shopping. We also here have Hotel Chocolat, which is a bit different from what most of our students have normally experienced. And then we're going further afield to think about the case for Malaysia as an emerging market and really think about what it is about Malaysia. And this is something which is beyond the experience of most of our students and is designed to help them see the wider world. Looking at the student numbers for our Year 13 classes, you can see that it's relatively consistent. We typically have somewhere between 25 and 35 students completing the course. For option subjects at A-level, this shows that we are having an impact in terms of making it a popular one. This quote from an ex-Year 13 student shows the impact we've had in our ability to generate enthusiasm for business studies from the students, being able to support them through the process of developing their skill set with the use of structured help sheets and essay structures, and also the degree to which it's really helped students outside of school and developing their own personal journey through work and careers. I'm looking here about careers in a bit more detail. So over the course of this year, I've been in contact with students to see what they're now doing. This is just a small number of the students who I've been having conversations with. It shows now what jobs they're doing, having left Griffin and Business Studies courses. What I'm particularly proud of is that we've got a number of students who probably struggled at the beginning of their GCSE and sixth form careers within school, but have now gone on to thrive. Of these examples, 2 are now started and running their own businesses, really showing the degree to which they have developed their skill set in the business studies area. Having now explained our 3I policy and given examples of them, I want to explain how the curriculum is put together and the reason why we teach it as we do. Within the middle of this screen, you can see the topics which are covered in the Key Stage 4 Business curriculum. This is associated with Year 10. We teach these topics in order, but the reason is that they build upon each other. So you can see that actually we start about what business studies is, and we think about the people who run businesses. Without entrepreneurs, there will be no businesses. So we start at a small level. We then build it up through how entrepreneurs decide what to do, and the techniques they can use to do that, including research, to what they actually then need to do in terms of starting a business, setting goals and using measurements, the elements of business finance which might be used to judge them. Having established how to set up a business, we now think about how to make it successful. So this includes aspects of marketing and aspects of recruiting of the right employees. At the end of Year 10, we look at how businesses might be impacted by external influences and what managers or owners of businesses can do to try and minimize any negative impacts of this or take advantage of some of those external influences. So within Year 10, we are already taking students on a journey about what business studies is and possibly starting their own business. This is also looking at Key Stage 4 Business, but now the Year 11 content. So by this stage, students would already have done the Year 10 process of who starts businesses, what skills they need, how they can start a business, how they can put it into action, how to make it successful. We are now looking about how to grow a business, including growing on an international scale. Once we've taught this, we go through some of the key pillars of business studies. So we look at marketing, operations, finance, and human resources. These bits already start developing on what's been done in Year 10, go into more specific details, which will then be either used potentially at sixth form or can be used by students when they go off into their own jobs, apprenticeships, possibly even starting their own businesses. As I have said, the Year 10 and Year 11 content are quite closely matched. I wanted to take the opportunity just to show how the content has been spiraled and we come back to topics repeatedly. So we can see several examples of topics which are first taught in Year 10, are then revisited in Year 11, and if students then go on to sixth form, Key Stage 5 content will be revisited during the A-level course. So customer needs, flowing through into marketing and operations decisions, and again, marketing, operations or elasticities at A-level. It might be finance, which then is a topic within Year 10, goes into how to finance growth, which is revisited in Year 11, and there is further content delivered on it in Year 12 and 13. As well as focusing on the content, exam technique is a thread throughout all business studies lessons at both Key Stage 4 and Key Stage 5, which is continually revisited, with students being given access to, explanation of, and practice with the range of different command words which will be used in an exam, and a range of different ideas they can consider when doing them. So it's not just about exam performance, but developing a skill set to analyse, evaluate, and consider topics in context. When thinking about our Key Stage 5 curriculum, the Business Studies A-level, again, I've given you a screenshot of the specification. And the specification does put things in a logical order. For Key Stage 5, whilst we have many students who may have done Key Stage 4 Business Studies, we don't know where they've done it. The Griffin School might teach in a different way from other schools, or if they've done Business Studies at all. So the course is designed to assume no previous knowledge, and therefore we cover all of it. Topics are split between two different teachers at this stage, but topics 1 and 2, so what is business, and managers, leaders and decision making, are delivered at the start of the course, enabling students to get a really good understanding of what a business studies course is about and the role of leaders and managers. These are skills which we hope they take on into their own personal careers, and if they start a business will be ones which are crucial to them, and it helps frame the rest of the specification, the rest of the curriculum, because it's about how the concepts which are being learned will help managers within their roles and will allow a business to be successful. In terms of explaining Year 2 of the Key Stage 5 business course, so Year 13 for A-levels, it builds on what has been delivered in Year 12. For the Year 13 students, the focus tends to be more strategic, so long-term and thinking across the functional areas. Those functional areas have been covered in Year 12. So rather than having linear ideas considered within each functional area, the concepts are going beyond them and asking students to think about how they all relate. We are developing the ability for students to consider the significance of each point. As well as the A-level business course, we also run a Level 3 BTEC course in Enterprise and Entrepreneurship. So I'm quickly going to go through how this course works. Unlike the A-level course, the scope of the BTEC is a bit narrow. We're told 3 of the 4 units that we have to do and have a choice for the 4th. We will do across the course 2 pieces of coursework, so a very different skill set from the A-level. One which is a written exam and 1 unit which is a controlled assessment. The way we do this is we start off with the Enterprise and Entrepreneurs coursework, as well as the Personal and Business Finance units in Year 1. These are really good to introduce the general concepts of enterprise entrepreneurs, and they introduce students to the bedrocks of what makes an entrepreneur and the bedrocks of finance. These are the skills which they're going to need to apply to lots of different scenarios in their coursework later on, and also help them in their real life development themselves. In Year 2, we do a unit about developing a marketing campaign, which is a controlled assessment. We take this in January to allow students the opportunity to be able to resit later on, as is an opportunity for BTEC exams as opposed to the A-level, and also because we've taken the finance exam in Year 1, if they wish to, they can retake in Year 2 to build upon what they've done. Alongside taking the exam in January, we also do a piece of work based on social enterprise, which is a piece of coursework, and it's put here because this borrows from all the other units, and what they've learned in those units will be applied to a more practical application on this unit. I have some examples of how work is completed in here. So we've got on the left-hand side are lots of examples of questions associated with the exam. So students are provided with a framework to help to do this, and lots of practice about how to apply to different scenarios. So this will help in the exam, but also will go beyond the exam to help students in their knowledge of real businesses. And then the coursework, which is a bit dictated as to what the topic is by peers in the exam board, but the content of that is all taught beforehand, using lots of different real examples. So when students have to then go off and apply it to a chosen example from the exam board or business from the exam board, they are able to demonstrate that skill. Students, having done the BTEC, will go off and do a variety of different things. Some may go off to university, some will go to do apprenticeships. The applied nature of the BTEC lends itself readily to this, and some goes off to start jobs and possibly then use this to start their own business.